Today I'm sharing the most unique features of my tiny off-grid van kitchen that make it perfect for me. A big thank you to Kittl for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. Kittl is an online design program that makes it really easy to create beautiful graphics in just minutes. If you're interested in finding out more, stick around to the end of this video where I'll be sharing a cute project that I made with Kittl. One of the unique features of my van is this cargo partition. I had it installed when I bought the van to protect me from flying debris in case of an accident and for privacy. I decided to spray paint the partition black to embrace the industrial look. It was quite the project to do, and I ended up looking like a character in an episode of Breaking Bad. But I'm really happy with the way it came out, especially with the contrast of the bolts that I painted antique gold. It brings in a really nice vintage chic element that I'll be incorporating into the design of the kitchen and the rest of the space. Since everything about van life was new to me, and I had only gone camping once, my approach with building out this van was to do it in phases, starting with the most basic layout and systems, and then building in some time for adventures in between to really understand what it's like to live in such a tiny space while traveling and being completely off the grid. For running water, I chose to start with a USB rechargeable faucet, mainly because of how simple it is to install. You just connect the tube to the faucet, and then that goes into the water tank. One thing I didn't get around to doing yet is adding the hose clamps, but that's also very easy to do. I love that it will work for weeks on one charge, and you can still use it while charging. The flow of water is adequate, but it's not too much, which helps to conserve water. Water is very heavy at 8 pounds per gallon, so I didn't want to carry on board more than what I needed. I chose to start with 10 gallons of fresh water, split between 3 water bricks of 3.5 gallons each. When one is empty, I switch out the hose to a full tank and then refill the empty one, which I can easily carry. I use separate 1-gallon jugs for drinking water, and for the gray water from the sink, that goes into a 2.5-gallon tank that I empty periodically. That's the one thing I would probably change and upgrade to something bigger and also put it under the van. But everything else has worked really well for me. If you're interested in seeing all the components that I used for this, I'll put a link in the video description below. One of the advantages of having such a small compact faucet is that it left room above the sink for this dish drying rack. It was actually a very easy DIY project. I built it with 1x3s and plywood. Everything is waterproofed, and I also siliconed all the joints. Then I simply added square wood dowels on either side, leaving space to put something there to absorb the water, or take the dish rack apart and clean it if I needed to. This is, I think, one of my favorite features of this entire kitchen. It makes a huge difference to be able to put the dishes there to dry and not take up any counter space. And yes, those dishes are plastic, and I put them away when driving. I had an extra bamboo plate rack, so I used it to create a lip for the second cubby. It keeps items in place and makes it easy to hang things so that they don't move while driving. I installed a USB outlet in this cubby as well to make it easy to recharge my faucet, and it's also where I keep my CO2 monitor and my air quality monitor. It tracks temperature and humidity as well as airborne chemicals and the risk of mold. I like that in addition to the app that shows me all the readings, I can just wave in front of it to get a quick reading with the indicator light. I'll put a link to the air monitor in the description below. Designing a kitchen that's in a van has the additional challenge of making sure that nothing will move when you're driving. So I had to get creative to incorporate the open shelving that I wanted. This unique shelving with cubbies makes use of every single cubic inch of vertical space, while still making it easy to access everything and keeping items secure while in transit. I built it out of recycled 1/2-inch plywood to keep the weight down. The left cubby will be hidden but accessible from the hanging closet that's next to the kitchen. It also holds my cutting boards and my knife rack, another easy DIY project that I made with scrap wood, iron-on wood edging, and molding. I'll put a link to more details on this project in the description below. The shelf above the knife rack is where I keep my utensils. I find that it takes up less space than in a drawer, and it makes it really easy to get to them. The water bottle on this shelf is also where I keep my hot water. I just boil extra water in the morning and put it in there so it stays hot all day. I may add a water heater in the van in the future, but I like this simple system for now. Choosing metal and clear containers combined with some that are made of wood and keeping the accents to the color white really helps organize everything to create a more cohesive look. The shelving tower also serves as support for the shelf above it. To secure all of the things on this shelf, I used a 1x4 to create a lip at the front, and then I played a mean game of Tetris to pack all of the items tight enough so that they wouldn't move or rattle. While this may not be ideal for off-roading, I haven't had any issues after driving thousands of miles on highways and city roads. The kitchen backsplash is recycled 1/4-inch thick plywood from a headboard I took apart. It's very light, which is a very important consideration when choosing materials for a tiny home on wheels. It's also waterproofed with shellac, so it's easy to clean. I didn't try to hide any of the screws when installing it. This entire van build wasn't about perfection, but more so about experimenting, trying new things, and learning. My zinc countertop is the perfect example. I had never worked with zinc before, but I loved the look of it. So I figured this van kitchen would be the perfect opportunity to give it a try. Cutting and bending the zinc sheets by myself without any of that special equipment that the professionals use was quite challenging. But it was also fun to learn how to use new tools and learn new techniques. My countertop is far from perfect, but it sure has a lot of character, and it makes me smile every time I look at it. I love how it reflects the light, especially with those gold accents that I added to the edge. There's still lots of work to be done on the lower cabinets, like better utilizing the space above the fridge. Building in phases and traveling in between just takes more time. Luckily, I have amazing friends that have given me lots of support and help along the way. To say thank you, I used Kittl to make personalized electronic holiday cards. Kittl has hundreds of beautiful ready-made designs that you can easily customize. After looking at all the holiday card designs, I chose this one because I could include a picture. The fun thing about Kittl is that everything in this graphic is customizable. You can see each individual component in the layers and select them individually to make bigger, move, or delete. I wanted to add my van to this graphic, so I just deleted the Christmas tree and replaced it with a van graphic. Whatever thing you're looking to add, you can just search for and then you'll see all the options. I love using these ready-made designs because I don't have to worry about picking fonts that go together or what elements to use to create a nice design. It's all there, and then I just get to customize it to whatever I want. You're also able to upload your own graphics and photos, which is what I did to add the photo of my friend. Another feature of Kittl is that it automatically shows you all the colors in the design, so it makes it really easy to pick colors to match. After all the changes are done, all that's left is to download the file. There's many options here that you can choose from. I just downloaded a JPEG because I will be emailing these cards. I really encourage you to give Kittl a try for free by clicking on the link in the video description below. You'll have lots of fun creating your own projects for the holidays or for anything else you need. If you're interested in seeing more of my van build, including a final kitchen tour and how I cook in it, don't rely on the YouTube algorithm. Sign up for my newsletter, and that way you'll get notified as soon as there's new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.